Today's video is a departure from traditional watercolor painting. A great way to mix things up if you're looking for something fun, different, or exciting to try is to incorporate other art media into your piece. Watercolor is incredibly versatile. Many artists use it in conjunction with gouache, casein, or acrylic, but for today, we are exploring the world of mixed media using watercolor, Brusho, and gold leaf, all in the same painting to achieve a unique and exciting final result. This was my first time trying all three of these together, and it's definitely something where I would recommend playing with each medium and getting to know it separately before trying to throw it all together into one painting like this. I've already done gold leaf, and you can check out this video for a more thorough tutorial on how to do that. And I've already had a chance to play with the Brusho quite a bit. There's also a video about that. For my surface, I used an ampersand aqua board. These are clay boards that are prepped specifically to handle watercolor paint. So when you know you'll be using lots of water, aqua boards are such a great surface to paint on because they never warp or buckle under the water. They also allow for easy scrubbing and lifting of watercolor paint, and they handle masking fluid like a dream. Be sure to check out the description below this video for a complete list of supplies used in this project. Now I had this image of a deer, and as I was designing this painting, I was imagining, an autumn, blurry background, maybe suggesting yellow aspen trees. I envisioned a beautiful blend of colors and then some stark trees done in the gold leaf, just to give the painting an elegant and illustrative look. I knew that for the deer itself, I'd just stick with watercolor paint for that. I designed all of this ahead of time in Photoshop. When you're going into a project like this, you definitely want to have a plan so that you're not erasing a lot and messing up your surface. Here was my basic plan of action for this painting. Number 1, mask the trees. Number 2, paint the Brusho background. 3, paint the watercolor deer, and 4, apply the gold leaf. For step 1, I used a rubber brush to generously fill in the tree shapes with masking fluid. Masking fluid is a liquid latex that you can actually paint on. It does a great job of protecting your white surface so that you can paint freely and loosely around and over those protected shapes. When using masking fluid, make sure to let it air dry all the way, at least 20 to 30 minutes, depending on your climate, before painting over it. Otherwise, you'll have a mess on your hands. Trust me, I've done it. Step 2, paint the background using Brusho. Now, in case you've never heard of it, Brusho is a highly pigmented powder or crystal form of watercolor that can create these astounding effects when water is added. Working one small section at a time, I painted clean water onto the surface of the aqua board, everywhere that I wanted this soft, blended background color to be. I used a combination of just two colors, dark brown and yellow. I've punctured the top of each little paint jar with a thumbtack, which creates a tiny hole, and then you can actually use the Brusho container like a little salt and pepper shaker, sprinkling loads of color all over that wet aqua board. I added large drops of water over the top of this just to encourage the paint to spread even more. Just being careful not to mess with the crystals too much. I want it to look natural and spontaneous with the way it flows, not overworked or just overbrushed. You can see how different the background looks after it's completely dried. You might be wondering, where did that green come from? We didn't actually use any green Brusho, but both the dark brown and the yellow crystals have little bits of blue pigment that when mixed with the yellow create the look of green. So it turned out far better than I had even imagined. You always want to use dry, clean fingers to remove masking fluid, which I did before proceeding on to step 3, painting the deer. Now this portion of the painting, it took the longest for sure, but it was so enjoyable. By the way, if you want a complete step-by-step tutorial on how I painted this deer, the full-length narrated version of this project is available through my Watercolor Mastery membership. I'll leave a link in the description below so that you guys can check that out. Now the last step was to add our gold leaf. I have a leafing kit by Old World Art that I purchased from Trakell Art Supplies, and it is so fun and so easy to do. You just start by painting on the adhesive size everywhere you wish to apply your gold leaf. You do need to be careful with this step because remember, anywhere that it's sticky, that gold leaf is going to stick. Let that dry for about an hour. Carefully spread the sheets of gold leaf over your sticky areas. It's totally okay to let layers overlap. Press down the gold leaf to encourage a strong bond between the leaf and the prepared surface. Use the included cheesecloth to rub the leaf in a circular motion. This will continue to flatten and adhere it. Now once the gold leaf is adhered, you can begin the super fun process of tearing and brushing away the excess leaf, revealing your beautiful gold trees beneath. If you missed any little spots with your adhesive, this will soon become evident, and you can always go back and add more adhesive size and apply a second layer of the leaf using your leftover shavings. I did have to go back just for a couple of tiny spots on the trees. You can save the leftover leaf for another time. I actually put some in a jar and I think it looks really pretty. The last step is to seal the gold leaf using the sealer that came with the kit. Make sure to paint carefully and stay inside of your lines with your sealer and wash your brush super thoroughly using paint thinner followed by soap and water. There is the finished mixed media painting. I was super happy with how it turned out. Let me know in the comments what you think. Is this something you would like to try? Does it seem totally crazy or completely doable? I do think that breaking it down into easy steps makes this project really approachable, and there are just so many creative things you can do when you combine different media. I'd love to see what you guys are doing with mixed media. Share your artwork with me on Instagram. Tag me at eOlsonArt and I'll check it out. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Check out my other videos about gold leaf and Brusho, and I'll see you there next.